As a leader of the National Party, so could you please tell us, in this year's election, what are the strengths or advantages of the National Party?
Look, our strengths are our experience in managing the economy and the government's finances, and our real hope and vision that New Zealand can keep improving its performance, that we can keep growing as a proud, confident country. So we've got a lot of experience from managing through the recession and the Christchurch earthquakes, the economy getting up and going again. We understand it requires successful businesses to be able to do that. Great staff, good leadership, people who take risks and invest, and we want to continue to support that while government builds all the roads and houses and schools that are needed to support it.
Great. And according to the recent polling results, the National Party is facing serious challenges. Are you still confident that you will win the election?
Yes, I am, and I'm particularly confident about the support of the Chinese community. The polling there has shown quite high levels of support for National. I think that the early attention that the Labour leadership change got has now faded out, and now people are focusing quite hard on the real choice between the parties, and so they face a choice of building on New Zealand's strength with National, keep the economy going, spread the benefits of it, or with the Labour Party, some very confusing and vague policies, particularly about tax. Now, tax matters to people because the more tax government takes, the less you have yourself. They're not willing to say to New Zealanders just how much more tax they want to take, and I think that's really got people worried now.
If the National Party wins the election, will you make any major changes to the immigration policy?
I don't imagine major changes because we've made some changes recently, and what's driving the immigration is the success of the economy. We need to get people in to do the jobs that are here, particularly, say, in construction, where we've got the biggest construction boom we've had in a long time. A growing export sector, where we've got young Chinese entrepreneurs and others here using the e-commerce platforms to sell our goods to the rest of the world, and that's good for the New Zealand economy. The migration numbers have stayed up longer than we thought. Eventually I think they'll start coming down.
What do you think of that the National Party enjoys a particularly strong support in the Chinese community?
I think the strong support there is based on our focus on law and order, where we believe strongly in a safe community, and partly because of the advocacy from the Chinese community and actually the Indian community. Earlier this year, we made a decision to recruit another 1,100 police staff, and those staff are now just being trained, and they'll start appearing on our streets quite soon. I think also the Chinese community we identify with their strong entrepreneurial spirit, that is trading, business, and also their strong focus on family and community, because they help each other and the rest of the community increasingly. They don't rely on the government to do it for them, and that's one of our principles, self-reliance, and I think that's how we connect well with the Chinese community.
And according to some polls, that Dr. Jen Yang will not be able to return to Parliament. So the Chinese community is very much concerned, as he's the most popular Chinese MP. So can you assure the Chinese community?
They can do their best to get him back by making sure they vote National. And the more votes we get, the better. So the kind of result that means Dr. Zhang wouldn't be in Parliament would be a result where we would not be the government. We are confident that we'll be able to win the election as the government. If we're the government, Dr. Zhang will be in Parliament. But we need the votes to get that.
And also, will the National Party have more Chinese candidates in the future?
I would certainly hope so. I mean, we want to reflect the growth and dynamism of our many ethnic communities and migrant communities, who are, of course, Kiwis, deserve to be represented. And so we will be looking for candidates who can do that. But also, we want to see candidates of different backgrounds representing National in our electorate seats. I think that's quite an important part of any migrant community being seen as participating in the broader community.
Okay. And the relationship between New Zealand and China is increasingly close. Will the National Party continue to maintain such a strong relationship?
Yes, we will. That doesn't mean there will be some differences sometimes. So we are going into a tough negotiation about upgrading the Chinese Free Trade Agreement. We've got the political leadership there, Premier Li Ka-shing, who endorsed that when he came here to New Zealand. But we know that the kinds of changes New Zealand wants, China may or may not agree with.
And now New Zealand is becoming even more multicultural. Are you confident that the government will have been able to ensure the equal rights of all the ethnic groups?
Yes, I do. Look, I think it's one thing New Zealand has got good at is dealing with a cultural difference, because we've had our own internal tension for many decades with Māori, between Pākehā and Māori, and we've been able to substantially resolve those. There's still work to do, but I think New Zealanders as a whole understand there's other people who have a different worldview, but we can get the positive benefits of that. And yes, we would expect that everyone who becomes a Kiwi is treated respectfully and treated equally.
Last but not least, would you like to take this opportunity to say anything to our audience?
Well, you have a choice when you come to vote, and there's no doubt that to keep on with the success that we have, you need to vote National. Voting for Labor will create uncertainty. You'll get all this unpredictable policy around tax that'll slow the economy down while everyone tries to work out what's going on. We can't afford that. We just want to move ahead strongly from where we are.
Okay, thanks. Okay, that's all.